Wardy, a long summer of pre-season, but round one is almost upon us. How's the mood in the camp?
Yeah, I think really, really good. I think the 2 games against Exeter and Gloucester are exactly what we needed. We sort of bedded in a few youngsters, got the senior players back on track as well pretty quickly. It was a long summer. It felt like a long summer, but actually this pre-season was quite short in context because of the season structure. And we got a good win against Gloucester at home in front of our home fans. And look, we're looking to hit the ground running against Loughborough away on Saturday.
Yeah, you touched upon it there. It's a sprint of a season, isn't it? So you really need to hit the ground running. Yeah,
I mean, with the WXV tournaments taking place at the moment, so obviously none of the teams in the PWR will have the international players, including ourselves. First 3 rounds, potentially with for a few of our players to come back for that Saracens doubleheader at home, which will be amazing. It's going to be a slightly different start to the season, but then also when those players do come back, squads are going to bolster again, and it's going to be competitive right from the off. I think we've got 6 games into Christmas, and there's sort of 8 games off the back of that as well, and the finals in March the 17th. So as you said, it's a sprint.
And a tough start away at Loughborough, Franklin's Gardens. How do you approach this one?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really tough because I think Loughborough have recruited not only in their playing squad, but obviously their coaching department as well. And Charlie Beckett is a player I've worked with before. I know how diligent he is, and I know how Nathan works as well. So I think it's a real challenge for us, but a really good test for our squad. We've got some young players in there, but we've also got some senior players who have played almost 100 games or have played 100 games in the case of Holly Cunningham, Rowe, Marston Mahone, etc. So I think we're in a good position. We don't want to underestimate them, but obviously we don't want to give them too much respect on that as well. We are the incumbent finalist, and we've got to go one step further this season.
Yeah, some really exciting young players in that group that have had those opportunities in those 2 Power Up Series games. Millie David, for example, with that certainly that individual try from last week. A big season, some big opportunities for these guys.
Yeah, massive. And I think the one thing that we've always said, myself and Tom Luke, in terms of our playing squad, if you're young enough, you're good enough. And Millie Davies is an example of that. I thought she did fantastic in the Gloucester game. I actually thought she played herself and ran great in the Exeter game as well. You saw Natalie Evans, 18 years old, Bristol University student. She's one for the future. She's had some really nice touches in that Exeter game. So we want to blood those youngsters. We want to bring those guys through. But also, like I said, rely on those senior pros to get the results, because now we're into the results-based industry. And we want 4 or 5 points from Saturday's game.
What's the focus been in pre-season? Like, where are the improvements that you see from last season? Obviously, you made the final, you came close to a first title. What do you need to see this year to go one step further? Yeah,
I think the party line, unfortunately, the girls are going to be sick of hearing it, is evolution, not revolution. There's no point, we're ripping up the playbook. We had a fantastic job last year, and we were 40 minutes away from winning the title. We've got to evolve our game. A lot of people will say, we know how Bristol play now. We know what they're going to do. That's all well and good. They still got to defend us. So we're bringing in some slightly different options, certainly in attack. We're going to go back to our defence in terms of that foundation to set us up for that victory. Attack gets you loads of points, defence wins titles. And I think last year defensively we took a massive step forward. I'd like us to take another step forward in that area as well. And just tweak some little bits. As I said, it's an evolution, certainly, in terms of the playing squad. We've not had many in. And also the amount of time we're going to get with these players. We just want to kick on that one more step. And we want to win some big games at home as well. And no better to start with Saracens in that double header.
And you've mentioned the internationals away at the moment. A proud moment for you guys and for Phoebe Murray making a debut on Saturday.
Yeah, that was amazing. Obviously, I was probably privy to a few more people how early that I knew that Phoebe was going to start, and I was obviously very excited. I knew that her family were going across as well, and to perform the way she did, I feel like she'd been playing international rugby for a long time, and we've certainly believed at Bristol that she's been at that level. So I think for her to go and do what she did against the USA, it's certainly a proud moment for her, a proud moment for the Bears, and for all the hard work she puts in. And not a lot of people would have seen her coming to 7 a.m. skills sessions 3 years ago when I first joined the club, because she was a training doctor. So all those little bits that she does away from rugby behind the scenes has paid off. And Red Rose number 263, and it's a prime number, which I know she'll be happy about. So all those little bits that have gone into it, I think we're incredibly proud. And I want her now to go and play 10 caps, 20 caps, not just be that sort of 1 or 2 or 3 in this WXV series.
15, 16 players away at WXV, which is obviously a headache and a positive for you when it comes to managing the squad throughout the season. What's your approach and your view on it? It must be proud, but also gives the opportunities to the younger guys like Millie.
Massively. I think there's the players here are getting a lot more reps in training. The players away are getting a lot more messages from me on WhatsApp. So I think that's kind of how I'm dealing with it. I mean, I'm chatting to the Scottish girls regularly in terms of their games. Also the Welsh girls, myself and Tom went to watch the girls play at Rodney Parade before they went out. We're checking in with those guys all the time, and obviously I've got a direct line into England basically every night. So I think from our perspective, we're checking in, we're making sure they're all good. They're staying in touch with the Bears as well. Like, there was some really nice messages went up on the group in terms of Phoebe and her debut, etc., and the way Evie played at the weekend. Again, another player of the match performance for her, and Kira captaining her country for the 3rd time. So in that respect, everyone's still very much as part of a squad. But the players here are getting to reap the rewards because they're getting extra reps in training. They're preparing for a Premiership game, and some of these players, it will be their first start in the Prem for a while, or their first start in the Prem at all. So that's really exciting. And to do it at Franklin's Gardens, it's a big venue. I think they've already sold over 500 tickets, looking to get 1,000 for the first game. It's going to be a big challenge, and one, as I said, we need to take head on.
Saracens in round 3 at Ashton Gate. Another huge occasion. We've seen the popularity of these games at Ashton Gate, but a double-header with the men for the first time. You guys must be really excited for that.
Yeah, there's so many layers to this game. I think obviously the repeat of the semi-final. I think Saracens were pretty annoyed with us winning, obviously, and we were pretty happy with it. The fact that we're going in front of the men, so people can make a real day of it at Ashton Gate. That's what we want. We want families to come. We want them to watch 2 amazing games of rugby. I think the men are playing some of the best rugby in the world right now. I'd like to think that when we start on Saturday, we'll be doing the same. And for people to get down to Ashton Gate and support both Bristol teams against both Saracens teams with hopefully 2 wins will be a fantastic day for everyone. And certainly one we've had on our calendar for a while now, in terms of looking at it being our first home game. But we want a massive support, and we want to show maybe the people that haven't watched women's rugby before what we're all about. And it is just essentially rugby, and the skill and the endeavour that's on show, I think, will impress a lot of people.